What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy T.
Hey, it's your man B. We got a special
You want to
episode.
ride up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
special episode. We got my man Burn in the building. What's good? South Jersey
Yep,
in the
yep,
building.
yep. You already know South Jersey in the building.
Every day.
Violent, Cumberland County. You know the drill.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm debating on how I wanted to start it off. Should I start off? How did we link up, Bobby? How did we link up?
Well, man, the legend goes. You know what I mean? The legend has it. It was man C Banger, man. You know what I mean? Like we had a mutual friend. You know,
Right.
you guys started going to the Art Institute of Philadelphia. Y'all was squad, so by the time, we right over the bridge. You know what I mean? We right over the bridge in Jersey, so we was coming to see our peoples, you know what I mean, see Banger. And I think y'all was roommates, right? You him and Ron, or
Yeah. We
so
was
by
all in
the
crib.
time we came out, y'all was flexing heavy.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It kind of just fit in. Y'all was family, you know what I mean? From the first time we met y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like it was all love. So, you know what I mean? We blossomed a relationship through music, you know what I mean? Like back then you was doing production and all that. We was rapping, so like the bond just kept growing, you know what I mean? So like here we are, you know what I mean? Some odd years later,
Yeah.
still with the respect and all that. So, you know what I mean? I'm here, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like just to add on, like, see, Chris had this is why they call me B Nasty up there. It's like Chris had brought his rhyme book out. Chris brought his rhyme book out like the first couple weeks. So I was like, yeah, I ain't really met too many people that rap. So I just like, bring my rhyme book out. I'm you know what I mean? We can chop it up like that.
Right.
Like one of mine's, and he was like, man, be nasty.
That's it.
This before y'all first time coming through. And it was on from there. Yeah, man. It was it was crazy.
So I'm not. It's not about me. It's not my interview. It's about our guest today. But I see. So I every now and then I have to call my guy on his shit, right? I done known Brian for 20 years, right? We went to high school together. Never knew this dude rapped at all.
Word.
Not one time did he.
Hey, what's up, man?
Listen. Now I rap too, but I wasn't rapping in high school, so that don't count, right? I didn't know he rapped at all. Now fast forward to adulthood, we bang together tough. I'm rapping. I'm in my bag now. I'm making it happen. The first time B came over and recorded with me when he came back from PA. Didn't like, oh, okay, we got some bars, cool. We call him B Money.
Okay.
I just now found out about 2 weeks ago that this is B Nasty.
B Nasty. Then we shortened it up. We shortened it up.
Yeah. B Nasty. Like they call me B Nasty. Right. It was like, I'm in Jersey. That's the Jersey. You know what I mean? That's home from Jersey. So like,
but really what it was. See, Chris, see Banger, he was from Connecticut.
Right.
So that was Connecticut slang. The way he was talking, that was Connecticut slang mixed with the Jersey slang. So it was all, you know what I mean? It was all intertwined. And that's what made it dope because, you know what I mean? See, Banger talked so highly of you and Ron. It was like, so like by the time we got there, it was like we knew y'all already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
Did Ron go to Duval all the time too, the whole time?
Nah, Ron was from Connecticut too. We met Ron and Chris. I met Ron and Chris at the same time.
I know Ron through sneakerheads.
Yeah.
Being a sneakerhead. I know Ron through being a sneakerhead. Okay.
Yeah.
So one question I like to ask people when any rapper who I respect, because 80s, it's just part of being a rapper, like and making it is one, having a buzz, two, having a sound. Right. Whether you lyrical or melodic or you're a clown in your rhymes, your sound is like that. Like that nigga got that sound. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And also is your name. So I'm real big on how you get So how did you get to your stage name?
Well, my name is Big Burnham. You know what I mean? And like the if you think about it, you start thinking about like all of the, you know what I mean, the big rappers that came before, you know what I'm saying? Like you had Notorious Big, you had Big Pun. So I knew that by the time it was time for me to grab an identity to have my name, I knew that Big had to be in it somewhere. That's
Right.
just it. But I was part of a duo in high school, and we called ourselves Crash and Burn. And that his name was Crash Bravo and mine was Bobby Burn. So then I started breaking the burn down. I was like, well, I needed to be an acronym. You know what I mean? Because I previously, before Big Burnham came, they called me Bobby Stills. But of course, that's RZA. So I was like, I'm trying to be serious about this rap. I can't go in with somebody else's, moniker. So I was like, yeah, call me Bobby Burn, man. Burn, break it down, bringing you raw noise. So
There it
that's what I
is.
was rocking with, for a minute. And then by the time this, all the littles came out, the little Waynes, the little this, the little that, I was like, well, man, I'm about to change my whole joint, call myself Big Burnham. So that just, that stuck, and everybody now they call me Burnham, but recently, I done lost 100-something pounds, so now they just calling me Burnham. They like, we gotta take the big out. We gonna call you Burnham. I'm like, nah, I'm still big, nigga. Call me,
bro.
call me what you call me. You hear me?
Big as a state of mind.
Right.
Big as a state of mind.
Congratulations on the weight loss too, bro. It was,
Appreciate it, man. Salute, bro.
that was
What did
crazy.
you do?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you what.
Working out.
It was straight discipline. I considered crack. I definitely considered crack twice.
Me too.
Matter of fact,
3 times for me. 3 times for me.
Okay, yeah, twice I considered it, and I was like, yeah, maybe that's not the best thing to do. But it was discipline, and the biggest part that I learned was when I made a plate for myself, I would divide it into threes, and I would only eat a third of what I used to serve myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me to do that, and then I started thinking ahead, like, yo, you know what I mean? If I want to go get McDonald's or something like that, instead of hopping in my car and driving, let me walk. Let me see how it is. How bad do I want it? So I would I would walk to a McDonald's. It was like 2 miles away. By the time I got there, I didn't want it no more. I wanted somebody to come pick my ass up and take me back home. You feel me? So like it got to that point, and then just gradually, just like inserting water. And I had Dr. Hell. I was on a drug called Saxenda. It was like an injection drug. It curbs your appetite. Makes you not want to eat. Makes you not think about eating. And increasing your water take, working out. It took a while. It took a while, but I was on the verge. I was diabetic. I was taking insulin every day, and I just recently lost my father in December, and I watched him suffer from this disease. This disease from where diabetes, he started losing limbs and all that, and I'm taking care of him. And the one thing that he's telling me is like, yo, son, you need to take care of yourself. You feel me? So like, I took it serious. I said, well, I'm taking care of you, Pop. I'm gonna take care of myself. And that's that started a whole transformation. And I'm here I am. So and I went from taking insulin every day, now I just take a little pill once a day. You feel me? So it fit my purpose. I'm good with it right now.
That's what's up,
Hey, that's
the journey, bro.
Appreciate it. Oh, and I'm an advocate. I you know what I mean? I'm an advocate. This helps out a lot too. The plant, the plant definitely helps. A lot of people that overeat, man, it's an oral fixation. It's not that they're hungry, it's that they crave to pause to do something with their mouth. Whether it's chew gum or chew a straw. You ever see somebody chew a straw?
Or some do have that other type of oral fixation too.
Correct, right. And
I met a couple of them.
Right, and shouts out to them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a lot though too. You know what I mean? A lot of people think, okay, you smoke, you mess around and get the munchies, and then you start eating more. Well, nah, you gotta be smart. You eat before you smoke, so you're already full. You don't get the munchies. You just want to smoke more. But yeah, a lot of that too.
A master strategist over here.
Absolutely.
That's if you around my guys from South Jersey, they were all, first of all, they all have bars like Keys, Banger, Burnem, Blizz, even Fresh, when he came around down here. They all had bars. They made my pen sharper, so I appreciated, all the game they gave me, all the gems they gave me, and just how they treated me when I was in South Jersey. Forever. That's gonna. I can talk to a nigga, like I can talk to my homies, like 5 years spans can be gone. They still be bugging forever. You know what I mean? For all that. So yeah, man. The first night.
Us doing this is a symbol of that. You feel me? Like that's an extension of that. Like we always gonna have that relationship because it's always been solid.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Niggas never wavered. So like we always gonna be in a good space that we get a chance to do stuff like this. So
So I want to talk about the Cook Up Radio. Like how did you come to that? I remember you putting a studio up. You said you had the studio. But how did it come to the Cook Up Radio? Okay, so I'm part owner of the Cook Up Studio. My partner Don Beats, he's a producer extraordinaire. He's done work with you know what I mean, we've done things with Redman, Fred the Godson, D Block Latino. We've done stuff, you know what I mean, Jadakiss, we got some stuff coming up. So like, you know what I mean, pretty decorated, hard worker. We've been working together. He had an umbrella, he called it Mirage Productions. And when I started rocking with him, we started building a dream together. And one of the things that we said, yo, we need to get a studio, man. Like we was rocking out in this mom basement. We had a studio down there. We was rocking for years. That was the spot. But you know, parents get older, moved out. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was time. It was, you know what I mean? It was time, and we started facilitating in other places, like trying to do a mobile studio thing where we went to another facility to use. And you know what I mean? Like it came to a point where I just sat and looked at him. I said, hey, bro, we have to get our own now. Like now's the time. So, I mean, we went on this search and we started looking, and we was able to find a spot right in Center City. You know what I mean? Like you ain't got to go far. Right on Landis Avenue. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And we was fortunate to get a spot there, and we built a studio. And I was like, well, I just rap, but I don't even want to rap no more. I want to be, I started writing. I started doing the pen stuff, ASCAP, BMI. I started, you know what I mean, doing stuff like that because I didn't want to be the front man no more. I wanted to be, chill to the back. So then I said, you know what? I was a fan of, the Joe Budden podcast. I was a fan of Hot Boxing and, you know what I mean, all these other different podcasts. And I'm like, I could definitely do this. I can get in that lane. And I was like, well, I'm gonna build, you know what I mean? We're gonna get a studio and I'm gonna have a little side joint where I record my podcast at. That was my initial plan, small thinking. So the more and more I started planning it and thinking about it, when we found the spot, it was like, okay, there was a whole nother big area. I said, well, I just don't want to do podcasting here. And I started talking to some of the homies from out here. Next thing I know, I said, you know what? I don't want to do one podcast. I want to do a couple podcasts. Let me do a whole radio station. So that idea just started flowing, and the more and more I started researching and finding out information, how to start it, what to do, it all became real. And now, you know what I mean, we trying to operate at a high level. We on our way up, man.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate the opportunity, of course.
Absolutely.
Man, like
so before Brian say that, before Brian asked you, and he asked you about the radio station, I want to go rewind a little bit before the radio station, before the studio, because when we were talking last night, I need you to tell me this story. We got to talk about this story.
Okay.
I need to know about Burnem, the battle rapper Burnem.
All right. So
before you tell me about how you got murdered, okay, I need to know what did you say in there that made you feel like, you know what, I'm in the building, before you found out that you was no longer in the building?
I can't tell you. I can't remember what I said because I remember what he said. You know what I mean? Like my memory won't allow me to remember some shit that I said that couldn't get him out of there. You know what I mean?
To have your
So,
claim to fame be I got smoked by Dizaster. It's not a bad claim to fame.
but here's the thing though. Here's the thing about this story. When I found out that he was Dizaster, it was years later.
Mm.
It was years later where you know how you on an internet journey and you run into somebody that you think you know. Well, it was some girl that was in there. Her name, you know what I mean? Because it was battle. Okay, so let me rewind back. It was AOL. AOL back in 96, 97, when AOL first came out. You know, dial up. You know how I go.
Yeah.
Right.
I used to be on there heavy. I was all about the girls. You know what I mean? But my best friend, my brother Blizz, he was on there, and you know what I mean? Like he discovered the form like battle rap forums, like rapper forums. So he would go on there and they would, you know, they would have crews. It'd be like 4 or 5 niggas against another 4 or 5 niggas, and they would have to write up their rhymes and post it by a certain time. And everybody in the forum would read it and rate them and pull out the bars you thought was the best bars and all that. So he doing all that, and I'm like, nah, nigga, I rap for real, nigga. I rap in person. And he like, nah, you know, it gets your pen sharp. And then we was in a freestyle session, and we was around all the homies, and we rapping, and Blizz ain't known for dropping a dope freestyle. You know what I mean? This boy started rapping. He said, when I pop in the door, everybody dropped to the floor. If rap was movies, I'd probably win the Oscar award. You could probably find me high on top of a horror, hot, wiping my cock with the white sock in the drawer. I pulled him to the side. I said, hey, look, hey, B, I pulled him to the side. I said, hey, bro, what's that site you be on AOL where y'all be rapping? What's that shit called, nigga? What's that shit called? And yeah, I mean, he pulled me in, he linked me in. He was like, look, now I'm in a high tier. So you can't talk to niggas like us in there. You got to start all the way down in the bottom tier. So I had to work my, you know what I mean? I had to work my way up. And that, you know what I mean? That's what I did. We have fun. You definitely sharpen your pen because you rapping against cats from all over.
Right.
So there was this guy in one of the elite battle groups. And I'm in there running my mouth because, you know, I'm a little newcomer that think he got bars and I'm witty. You know what I mean? I added comedy to my rhymes. Man, listen. They said you go against Exodus. Exodus was this he was a god pen. You know what I mean? It was damn near like rapping against Eminem, the way he structured his shit. And it was like rapid, bar after bar after bar after bar after bar. And couldn't nobody really do nothing to him. So I'm thinking to myself, no one knew what he looked like. No one knew his background. He was just like damn near, he was like a ghost. All you knew his name was Exodus. So I dropped my, you know what I mean? I dropped my round. I submitted. They put it on. Everybody start reading it. Man, 2 minutes later, he drops his. Mine, I think I wrote a 16. This nigga wrote 48 bars of pure fire. I mean fire. And like a lot of people didn't know, you know, you under a false name, so no one knew about you. Well, he went and found somebody that was on my friends list on AOL, found out my real name, found out where I was from, had a whole bar about Vineland. He had a whole.
He was ahead of the curve. He was ahead of the curve. He had a dossier on you.
I said, okay, he really wanted me dead. You know what I mean? And that was it. Like after that, I ain't gonna hold you. I will not sit here and lie to y'all. After that happened, I retired. I was never to be heard from again in the battle rap forum on AOL or anywhere else. I promise you. That set me down. So, okay, so fast forward a couple years, a young lady that was in the forum that, you know what I mean, she was also, you know, did the battle rap. Me and her caught up on Facebook, and she's telling me like, yeah, you know, the dude Dust, he, you know what I mean, he went on to do big thing. I said, word? She was like, yeah. She said, you watch, you know, battle rap? I said, yeah, I watch, you know, Smack and all that. She was like, oh, okay, you ever heard of Dizaster? I said, yo, shut up. She's like, no, dude, I'm serious. I'm like, nah, yo, you bullshitting. She was like, no, I'm serious. I said,
Wow.
I got killed. I sat there for 6 minutes. And I was like, I got killed by this ass. And I at that point, I said, oh, I can start battle rapping again because I don't feel bad. You know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, like, I'm gonna take it back to one of the days I saw you battle in real life.
Okay.
First time y'all came through. That's what you saw about the laptop. This is the laptop story. So first time we came through, there was a party going downstairs in one of our other apartments. All right, we all stepping out. We all stepping in there. Man, some whack bammer just started jumping out there, and I don't know how he started rapping to Burn, but he started rapping to him. And then he flashed his like little plastic burner, like a pistol. And first of all, Burn was getting him out of there. So nobody, everybody was, oh, you know what I mean, just, going crazy over the bars. And then Bama want to, fake flash a pistol. Niggas, allegedly, somebody when they left, when the party died down, some people went down back down to their crib and emptied the crib out. Allegedly.
Sheesh. Allegedly.
I don't remember what happened, but allegedly that happened. So he got killed twice.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was around them. So I was like, yeah,
you play stupid game, you get stupid prizes. That's the way it goes.
That's not what you gonna do. You know what I mean? We all out here having fun. We rap. You started rapping, not me.
Right.
You ain't even know I rap. You didn't even know I can get you up out of there. You didn't know that prior to you rapping to me. So, all right, now let's have fun. It was ladies around too. I'm not gonna rap.
It was joints out there.
And listen,
I'm about to fight your head off. Oh.
The first rhyme I ever wrote is probably the rhyme I remember the most vividly, and it's about dissing somebody, taking this girl. So I've always had that one in the clip.
So hold on. If that's your one joint, give me one bar from it. One bar.
It's a flow.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hold on. One bar though. I don't know if I can just give you one bar. But it's Then remind you, I wrote this when I was 18. First verse. First one I wrote. It's like, look, Playboy, why you all mad at me? Cause your girl glad to be standing with me. I ain't no pimp or baller or nothing like it, so you need to stop staring so hard. I don't like it. I think you intimidated. By the way, in a charm, or maybe pissed because your chick on my arm. I ain't gonna claim it. There's no need to be alarmed. I just need a bar. So please play it calm and don't get it twisted, kid. Yes, my nigga Zomsy. I ain't even want no beef over a chick that I just scooped up to give her some of this meat. Excuse me. I mean something to eat. Little steak, a little lobster, a little wine, have a grit and a tea. Send her home a little something, have a think in the tea. She don't even know me as verse. Don't even know that I rap. Don't even know that when I say that I care, it's all just a part of a night. She like it when I roll ice chips down the small of her back. That little shit that have a hollering back. And that's all I wrote. And for like a year, I couldn't write anything else.
Hey, yo, that's crazy how everybody remember their first rhyme. Everybody will always remember their first rhyme.
Hey, Burn, I stayed around nice niggas like my whole life. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my man. So I always big my man's music up. Yo, he was nice. He is nice.
Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you gotta send me something, man. I'll put it in rotation, bro.
The last Brian has recorded something more recent than I have. That's how crazy it is, though. Because he did his verse on he put his verse on Deadpool, a record we got. I'm not on it. I got bumped off. Cause listen. So we 4 deep in the joint. We got all these songs we gonna write to before my cousin head back to Florida. We writing, and Brian ain't wrote the shit. He ain't even say he writing enough. He ain't say he writing enough, and I'm like just getting down to writing to the Deadpool joint. It's like I'm 2 bars in, not realizing he already got the joint done already. They start recording it, and while I'm in the joint writing thing, I'm about to go in and do it. I go in there, and this Bama just got off, and I'm like, what? Now, my specialty is I'm the person who come in and clean your verse up. You know what I'm saying? ad libs, doubles. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of the production side of the record. So
Absolutely.
I'm listening to Breeze and Rock's verse, and they doing a thing. You know what I'm saying? They on another lane. This nigga is in the you know what I'm saying, comics and shit like that. So his entire verse was like literally about Deadpool.
Yeah, why not?
All
Why
bars.
not?
I'm like,
we'll send you that joint.
Why not?
Yeah.
I no exaggeration. Me and Brian had one record together at first. I don't even have that joint anymore. I don't even remember how it sounds and nothing like that. Brian might still have it. I don't have it.
When I rap with B, when we started try to write songs, B didn't know how to you know what I mean, how to count bars.
No.
He still don't.
Yes.
That's why. Listen. I don't need. I tell him like this, bro. Don't worry about counting bars.
Right.
All I need you to do is rap.
Right.
I'll fix everything else. Just get on there, rap it. I'll fix everything else.
Right. That's it. That's what I told him.
It never changed.
I said,
he had
hey,
a notebook.
Just
It's all rhymes.
I said, right till it makes sense at the end.
Yeah. They was way more advanced than I was. I just can't, you know what I mean? I just came in, they would battle each other. I battled like Chris one time. I battled Burn one time in Chris' crib one time. They were just way more advanced than I was. Yeah. I was like, yeah, let me just.
And we was sparring. You know what I mean? We was going verse for verse. You know what I mean? Yeah, we had the paper out. We was reading shit off. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
niggas had trapper keepers. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah,
but you didn't start out rapping as a battle rapper though, right?
No, I no. So battle rapping.
How did you transition to? So how did you transition from writing like structured rhymes for songs to now being a battle rapper? Were you like actually writing out whole battle raps, or were you taking verses where you was like, this could be considered a diss record, and then like connecting them together? Because I know some people start that way.
Okay, so the thing I did too, along with rapping, you know, roasting was that, you know, that's a competitive sport too. So
absolutely,
you know what I mean? I was elite in that area too. So I said, if I could just combine that and make it rhyme, that's how that would be my style. I'm more of a, you know what I mean? If I could describe my battle style, I'm more like a Charlie Clips, you know what I mean, Hollow the Don type flow. Like I can break you, you know what I mean, I can break you apart and make that shit sound funny. You know what I mean? So like that's how, but my original me rapping was just, you know what I mean, like I'm straight lyrical. I'm just trying to cram as many words into it as I can. I'm telling you a story, everything's gonna make sense. If it don't make sense in the beginning, I'm gonna bring it to you at the end. That's how it was. So just being able to switch the structure and make it to somebody, it wasn't that hard. I just, you know, considered it roasting.
So the next thing I want to know is your love for battle rap, right? Are you one of those guys who can like appreciate any battle rapper, or are you like you have like an acquired taste, like style wise?
I think we all have our preferences of who we like for different reasons.
Okay.
Going into battle rap, I was all about lyrics. I was sitting and listening to lyrics, and you know, the guys around me, the homies, they be like, oh yeah, but listen how the crowd respond. You know what I mean? Like they would go off of crowd reaction. You know what I mean? Some people go off crowd reaction. Some people go off of, you know what I mean, complexity of the bar. Some people go off of multi schemes. You know what I mean? Like I took it in as the art. You know, how to like the structure of it, to be able to, you know what I mean, tell a story with no beat behind it and remember all that shit.
That's the hardest part for me.
And deliver.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'll tell you right now, that's one reason why I could never be a battle rapper. Like, there's no way I'm like a 16.
I'd choke every battle.
These 16, these dudes is writing 100-bar verses.
Yep.
And then starting again, bringing it back for the crowd, and then that's 3 verses. Nah,
I'd choke every battle.
My freestyle game would have to be impeccable.
And that's what I would rely on is my freestyle ability. Because everything else is done. There's no way I'm remembering none of that.
So, who's your greatest of all time? We won't get to a full list, but I want to know who's on top of your Mount Rushmore.
On top of my Mount Rushmore, Hollow the Don. Hollow.
Okay.
Hollow.
Even though he took some main L's out there, but okay.
Debatable. Which L you talking about? He took his last battle. He took an L against Mav Hoffa. He took an L against Mav. Mav did him greasy.
So, and I'm sure Brian gonna have an opinion on this. So you gave him the battle against Clips?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's hard for me because Clips he's like probably I won't say he's my favorite all time, but he's like my favorite all time.
And I can see that because Clips is on my Mount Rushmore as well. For that same reason, like freestyle ability. You know what I mean? Like don't let him come with a third. Don't let him come with a third.
I had to come around to respecting. Like at first I didn't like, I guess because like the way that the battles were presented to me, like Hollow wasn't like presented like, yo, you should check him out. So I end up listening, like getting into more Hollow's battles later on. I feel like, you know, he seemed like more of a name than actually like he didn't earn, like it's not gonna say he didn't earn his name, but it's like people didn't like bring him to me like, yo, you should check him out. I just ended up seeing him versus people who they were telling me to check out. So he was always just the other dude. And then I saw like, I want to actually check Hollow. I'm like, okay, he got some work. He took the L against this Math, no doubt. But the battle against, I think the first time I really checked him out was the one against Hitman. I was like, okay, I really rock with Hollow.
For me, well, see, me being a battle rap fan goes all the way back to Grind Time.
Yeah,
Grind Time, man. He was in Grind Time, and like he was crazy. Like he did the Hulk Hogan scheme where he ripped it. Like he was the first one doing like, you know what I mean, like props and battles. So that history goes back. But the one that drove it over the top, where I was like, okay, this is my guy, was him versus Big T. Like But the whole battle, like Big T was no slouch by any means. That's my man. Shout out Big T. But
I like Big T.
Hollow, man, like he, you know what I mean? The scheme where he was like, he pulls up to the chicken shack, orders some chicken nuggets, doesn't set a dips with that. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just the way he structures.
He's definitely up there with the comedy, man. He'll make you laugh and be nasty with it at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the one thing about a lot of the Grind Time battle rappers, I think that's probably when I was like not, you know what I'm saying, focusing on it, because I started back with like Smack. That's like when he was doing the Smack DVDs. So like early on, my favorite battle rappers was Lux and Mook, like everybody else. And then during that downtime, I think I really didn't see a lot of them because it was a bunch of like splintered little battle raps leagues, like the one out in B-Mall. Used to watch the dudes from B-Mall battle. And there was one out, then everybody watched the ones from Philly.
Right.
Because, because Hollow Man was, I rock with Hollow Man heavy.
Status. Mm-hmm.
But then once like Smack got URL, I'm like, okay, now I'm watching these guys again. So I found myself watching the older battles. Because, you hear like when you hear a guy like his 10th battle win, he already got a crowd, he already got a fan base. So you just naturally fall in line with that base. But then you don't know why he was able to build that. So now I find myself going back and watching the earlier battles. So you said if you wanted to tell somebody Hollow the Don is one of the dudes to check out, you would tell them to go check out the Grind Time one against Big T.
Well, no, that was actually that was Hollow's first Smack battle. Was against Big T. Yeah.
Okay.
So if I wanted somebody to get onto Hollow, I would tell them to go to that battle first.
Okay.
Yep.
Don't check out the Joe Button on Slaughterhouse. Don't check out that battle to start off on Hollow. No, that's not the
please,
one.
No, please don't. Yeah, please, not that one. Matter of fact, do all of them but that one.
Did he lose the Joe Budden?
No, he didn't lose the Joe. Yeah, he did.
Yo, shout out to Hollow. Hollow's about to be actually about to be on. He's probably about to be on Wild 'N Out. I saw him. He's on he might be on season 14 of Wild 'N Out. That should be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I heard. I thought he was doing some consulting, but maybe if he makes it to camera, that would be dope.
Well, because I know they were doing the tryouts and auditions and stuff, and he was on them, and he was.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be nice to see him on there.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see these guys like expand their brand outside of just battle rap.
Yeah, he's been a big name in battle rap for so long that he can't go to somewhere like Wild 'N Out and not, battle as much, anymore. You know what I mean? He can make that. He can transition into, trying to build a brand for his name outside of battle rap.
Right. All right. So let's present day. So I recently started following your Instagram, the Cook Up Radio.
Right.
And I followed it not knowing what to expect. And I see that you do a lot of you pretty much anything involving the culture, you post it.
Oh yes, we're pushing the culture. Now first I can't take all the credit. I have I have a team behind me. Shouts out to my boy Q, shouts out to my boy Breeze. You know what I mean? They help with the day-to-day operations. They help with the social media presence, and that's one thing that Q is heavily involved in is the social media presence. So a lot of that content that he posts that's posted is coming from him, but that's that's built off the nature of, and we doing this for us. We doing this for our people. You know what I mean? And there's no limitation, there's no restriction to saying who our people is, but that's what we're doing it for. You know what I mean?
It's
yeah, exactly.
Us and it's our guests. It's us and our guests.
And our guests.
Like my man said, you know what I'm saying? You're a guest in the house of hip hop.
Absolutely. So, you know what I mean?
A welcome guest, but a guest.
But a guest. And at any time, I could ask you to leave. You know what I mean? I can show you the door if need be. You know what I mean?
Revival, recovery, please leave.
Right. Right. Listen, this way, please.
So I want to say thank you to you and your team, not just for bringing us on board, but the content that you share. Because like not only do you just show, like I love the fact that y'all put like dance routines and stuff. I love watching dance videos.
Right.
So I really love seeing hip hop dance. So I really love looking at those videos. So do you have a relationship with the people who you share, or do you just see them and then you post them?
It reluctantly, and I was looking in the inbox today on the Instagram and seeing these relationships that we're building with people, and I can tell you that we have speaking relationships with 90% of those people that we repost, and that's just due to the love. Hey, yo, I appreciate you for reposting. Listen, what can we do? I have radio drops from people in Nigeria, that rock with the station. That you know what I'm saying, like that. Oh, welcome. This is the Cook Up Radio. Like just offer the love, offer supporting, and pushing their brand forward too. So like, yeah, we're building relationships, because I just don't want to stop in small town South New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like I want to build. I want to start here, but expand, and that was part of me coming to UMB and saying, listen, I want to expand. Like I want to integrate your brand and help y'all build your brand bigger, while y'all doing the same for us. Because now y'all loyal listeners are saying, oh, okay, what, they on the radio station now? Now they tuning in and they listen and they like, okay. And then as soon as your show over, it's a song that catch their ear. Yeah. They playing music too? Yeah. Now they listening. Now that's it. You know what I'm saying? And like I was telling you guys, it was since integrating with you guys, it's been a jump in the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like during these peak times, and it's wonderful to see that. You know what I mean? Because I know that that's the strength of your brand and the strength of my brand coming together.
Honestly, just having confirmation of that, affirmation of that, we appreciate that too, man. Because we doing this every week. We don't know exactly. We see. we don't see all the numbers. We see some of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, to know that, we can give somebody that lift a little, it's just, if it's just like an inch, you know what I mean? That's we appreciate
the inch might be all somebody need to get over.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, that crack is all you need to get in the door. So, I mean, I definitely appreciated it as well, because it's like, you give, like, beyond, like, my thing was when we originally started this, we had it to be like, it's called On the Ride Up because we wanted to do it while we do a lot of talking, and we do it while we riding. So it was like On the Ride Up. And we had like a major hiatus from not anything other than just time, and just dedicating our time to like, let's do this every week.
Right.
And then last fall, we was like, we gonna do this. And even then we didn't say we were gonna do it every week, but we would just naturally find ourselves doing it every week.
Right.
And then once we, started nailing things out, like, we're gonna give the audience some new content every Friday. That's what we said. And
that's what impressed me the most, was that every link that I seen wasn't the same episode. You wasn't pushing the same. It was a new episode. I'm like, wait a minute, there's another one. You know what I mean? And then I would click that and listen to it and ride and sit with it. And then, you know what I mean, I come back and probably won't listen to the whole thing, and then come back and be like, let me listen to that episode. And I'm clicking it, and it's a whole new episode. I'm like, okay, they getting busy. They're getting busy.
And so when it came to, joining with your brand, it boosted that energy even more, because it's like we post ours on Friday, and we will be airing on yours on Monday. So even if for some reason our schedules didn't allow us to have it ready on Friday, we'd have that episode ready for Monday.
Yes.
Right.
And that it was like our safety net to saying, get on your game. Get on your game. And now that we're quarantined, it's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? It's no excuse.
Yeah.
So I'm the type of person, like, I'm big on content. And Brian is too, but I'm big on content to the point where it's like, bro, I'll do this every day. Whether it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, I'll do this every day. And I'll be like, I put the audio in the joint. Do what you gonna do. If I got video, I'm gonna put it on YouTube.
Right.
What's the worst that can happen? Somebody can click dislike. You had to watch it to dislike it. Tell 100 of your friends to go dislike this video. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll take all the.
They all ain't everybody gonna dislike it. You know what I mean?
And see, the good thing about a dislike is, you know what I like about a dislike over a like. A like is, I liked it, and I'll click it. But a dislike, if somebody has enough dislikes and somebody likes it, it's gonna prompt them to defend the content. Right. Now you start getting comments, because it's like, I'm gonna comment on y'all tripping, because how did 100 people dislike this? Them dudes know what they talking about. Them dudes talk real stuff without getting paid millions of dollars, like Stephen A. or Shannon or Joe Budden. They doing it purely for the love of what they talk about.
Yep. Yeah,
so
man.
That's what makes it a good marriage with On the Ride Up and the Cook Up Radio.
So let me ask you guys this. This is a question for y'all. What how do you guys decide what content y'all discuss every week? You know what I mean? Because y'all are coming with a lot of, fresh new episodes. So how do you guys come up with the topics that y'all discuss?
Well, normally, if you don't mind me answering first, Brian.
Yeah.
Normally, during it's usually sports during the season. So at the very least, we'd have sports to talk about. Sometimes if we had like something happen within the sports realm and it connected to something outside, like for instance, when Delonte West had that episode where he got beat up outside at the highway, that's sports related because that's sports news. But at the same time, I had a friend of mine who wanted to talk about mental health, and there was something else that happened that was connected. Orlando Brown had an issue. So that's three. That's Orlando Brown, who's entertainment. That's Delonte West, who's sports. And that's just, you know what I'm saying, just in general, like conversation, mental health. And it ended up being a whole episode when we just talking about mental health and people who, the pros and cons of does somebody want to go to therapy or seeing somebody. Because, the black community, we are really anti, you know what I'm saying, therapists,
Right.
you know? And so it was a great episode. So we talked about that. Unfortunately, the Kobe, you know what I'm saying, death was obviously, you know what I'm saying, a layup in sense of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that is
right?
no brainer. Yep.
Now, one thing me and Brown are big on are trying our best to avoid the hot take. You won't really, unless we really believe what we're saying, we don't really do a lot of, oh, I'm just gonna say this just for the soundbite. You know, and I think because Brian does a lot. Brian handles the posting of the episodes, and a lot of times, unless he sends me a clip or a part that he wants me to pull, I try to pull like the small clips, and I find it hard to do that as far as like stuff that's good to promote because we don't have those. Oh, he just said F Michael Jordan. That's an easy clip. You know what I'm saying? We don't have those type of things, so we actually I have to find like just quality talking points. You know, but we just powwow. We just have pre-production like 5-10 minutes before we go into a episode. We don't spend like if it's some big stuff and we want to put it ahead of time, like yo, we gotta talk about this or we gotta talk about that. Like the draft is Thursday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna preview a movie or something. Like, yo, do me a favor, try to watch this movie. Because we're gonna talk about sometimes, but the thing about us, we are so free of any shackles. We don't have anybody telling us what we gotta talk about or how we talk about it or any of those things. If Brian is the only person that saw the movie and it's good enough to talk about, then when we talking, Brian's gonna talk about the movie.
Right.
I'm gonna talk about the movie. So it doesn't have to be, oh, we gotta even balance of who talking. No, it's about the content. It's about the people getting the information. Brian is big on technology. So when we had our Disney Plus conversation, Brian had more information to give. I'm more consumer side of it. He's more, analytics, right? So that's how we go about. You know what I'm saying? Just whatever comes to us.
Yeah, and to add to that, like as far as like when we was doing the Blog Talk Radio back, whenever it was like 5 years ago, we were mostly 5% sports. And when we came back to the podcast, looking at the landscape of it, the hip hop podcasts are the biggest podcasts. You know what I mean? And even though we're big hip hop heads, it was like, man, how are we gonna make headway in hip hop on a hip hop podcast when you got T.I. making a hip hop podcast, you got David Banner making a podcast, you got Tech Kweli making a podcast, you got Joe Button making a podcast. So we was like, let's do what we was doing. It's sports and try to connect it with like real issues, real human issues. And like the standout, I think, was the mental health episode, in my opinion, as far as that is concerned. We're still trying to grow it. We're still trying to build, you know what I mean? Like the how we gonna make those connections and make it fresh. But now we're talking music.
I think
it's just fun because it's fun because we off the top we talk music all the time. We talk we talk about our top five. We talk about whoever and whatever. We talk about hip hop all the time. But the bars, songs, who make songs, who can't make songs. Because you know me, hip hop from the ground. You know what I mean? So it makes sense for us to talk it. And T was like, yeah, we should give that fan perspective. The rapper's perspective is there. There's a it's flooded now. Some of them gonna move out, some of them gonna move in, but we can get if we're gonna base this foundation on sports and give our takes on that, and then we can branch out to do whatever.
So to piggyback off what Brian just said, one thing about our podcast, what I enjoy about ours is once like we have a core audience, and once that grows, our core audience will be able to appreciate knowing that if there's something worth talking about, regardless of the medium, we're going to talk about it. If you like Undisputed and you like watching First Take, you're limited to what they're going to talk about in sports, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever.
Right.
Joe Button and all of them, they're going to usually stick to musicians, artists, right? We're going to talk about everything, and it'll be every episode. So if somebody come and diss somebody and there's a Super Bowl, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about, rapper A diss rapper B. Right. Oh, and also this movie came out. And also, thank goodness Donald Trump lost that election. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about anything and everything because that's what our fans know us for. We're not limited.
And we
So have y'all thought have y'all put any active thoughts into, you know, maybe taking one subject and doing like something, you know, totally different, like taking sports and removing sports from On the Ride Up and then putting it into its own, you know, type podcast and all you discuss is sports. Have y'all thought anything about branching, you know,
I'll
from
speak
this?
to that. Yeah, we definitely have talked about doing different genres and doing specific like a sneakerhead podcast, not just like a sneakerhead episode, like a sneakerhead podcast. It was not just us; it's with a couple of other homies, or a couple of other homies are doing like a network. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, one of the things, I guess futures, I don't know. We have a sister podcast that just talks about Black issues. And we've promoted. We need to promote it a little bit. Her season's over, so like she's coming back soon, I guess. But so we're trying to diversify that way. Yeah, absolutely. That's been on our minds as far as if we're going to have one show about sports, we can have one show about music, and you know what I mean, going in that direction as well.
So, from my perspective, the fact that we called it On the Ride Up, we can basically talk about it all. And even if we like sectioned it off to say, okay, you know, it would always be on the ride up. Sort of like ESPN is all sports, and then they have different people who only talk about different sports, right? Or network only they feature all. So it would always be on the ride up. And then if we had it, it would be, you know, on the ride up sports, on the ride up.
On the ride up is the brand. Yep, that's the brand.
So so that's how we would do it. And the good thing is we have a great artist on our logo, so we can just have just cook up a special one for sports, a special one for music, a special one for politics for Brian, because I ain't talking too much politics because I'm too ignorant for that shit.
Yeah, I feel
I'm too ignorant for it. I'll diss any of them. I don't care about the party.
Right. I goes in on all of it.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's how we moving. Like, what's next? What do you want to see happen with the Cook Up Radio next?
I'm anxious for next quarter because I'm introducing not only my full-time standalone podcast. I have a couple other, you know, podcasts coming. Like I have the guys that I mentioned that help me out with everything. My, you know, the managers, Breeze and Q, they have a show called Chocolate World where they discuss, you know, community issues and, you know, mental health as well and uplifting in the community. That's a great platform. They've started before and, you know, they're picking up with us. So that's, you know, that's big for me to see the progression of that. I you know, I guess now's a better time than never to, you know, drop this news on everybody. But like, the dream was to have the studio. I never thought in a million years that I would have a radio station. So now that the radio station is up and we're building, I have to think past that too. I got to keep thinking of the brand. So I'm starting the Cook Up Records, starting a record label. I already have two artists signed to the label. They're working, so we're putting that together. So like, I'm steady. I'm filling my plate, man. You know what I mean? I'm filling my plate up, man. So that's what we're doing.
One of the things you do, and it's like I feel like this is. Brian would talk about, you know, people can talk about people all the time, and it's like until you like start to interact with them, you really don't have a feel for them.
Right.
The one thing, like rap, like stuff that connects people is crazy, but one thing that really connects me is the love for music. And it was one Friday, because you gotta tell them about this. They gotta know this, because I want them to tune in when you do it.
Okay.
Is Friday nights, the late night special.
11:30.
right?
Yes, sir.
11:30 on Friday nights. So are you strictly R&B at the end? You strictly like you want some Justine Love and a Demu 19, you know what I'm saying, 95.5. That's for our, I don't know who y'all urban radio station is, but
Hey,
here we had a Demu and Justine Love doing love talks and slow jams at 10 o'clock at night.
I am going to be 100% completely honest with you. I never had an intention to play one song 11:30 p.m. on a Friday night.
You was rocking like 2, 3 o'clock in them.
Yes,
I saw you. I was at work, saw you doing it, got off, went home, got everything. I'm like, yo, he's still on. Oh, I'm gonna rock with him for this last hour.
still
I'm gonna
going.
rock with him for this last
I
hour.
was still going, and that was the thing. Like I never had thought to do that, but I looked in the comments and I'm like, it's all women in here. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's all females in here. Let me throw some music on in the background. You know what I mean? Just to give it a little ambiance while I'm talking, just in case I run out of things to say. I got the music playing. Next thing I know, I'm playing the songs. Oh, who's that? And it
Who's
just, you know what I
that?
mean?
Play
Right.
this song for me.
Right. And it snowballed. And the next thing I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm in there like DJ Jazzy Jeff. I thought I was somebody different. And you know what I mean? I'm playing all this music. So the team, the next morning, the team got into the group chat. It's like, yo, last night was successful. You know what I mean? Like last night looked like it went good. Let's do it again. So this was only the second week, and now I'm already thinking about what else to do. You know what I mean? I did the 90s R&B. What's going to go down this Friday night? So like we say stay tuned on that. You know what I mean? That news will be dropping soon, and how we kick it in on Friday nights. But it's the Let That Sink In. I mean, well, it was previously called the Let That Sink In podcast, but I switched it up to R and Burnham. You know what I mean? Like R&B, Burnham. You know what I mean? Little wordplay. And we just, you know what I mean, we play R&B, we kick it, we talk about relationships, we talk about, you know what I mean, differences in men and women, and I mean, we get into all of that, and we listen to good music. So it's a vibe. It's a late night vibe on a Friday.
That's what's up, man. How did y'all come to get to that the URL event with the that was in the same place with the RBE event? I wanted to ask you that because I watched that interview with T Top.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, my man's down there doing this thing.
They was in the same venue?
Well, not the same. He was in the same city. They did this on the same day.
Yeah. Okay. So the RBE event, was in Atlanta. And one of my homies who's a battle rapper, he was scheduled. He was on that card. He was one. You know what I mean, main event in that card. And he had just came home from doing a lengthy school visit, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, yo, the first event that you have when you come back, like I'm there. I don't care. And he like, yeah, and I'm thinking, you know, New York, you know what I'm saying? New Jersey, Delaware, somewhere in the tri. He like, yo, he's a big bro. I got the battle. I'm like, word, when is it? He's like, oh, it's in, you know what I mean, February. I'm like, oh, all right, that's what's up. Like, I'm like, where is it? New York? Where we driving? We gonna rent something? What we gonna do? He said, nah. I said, well, it's in Atlanta. I said, shit. Damn. So you know what I mean? I kept my word. You know what I'm saying? I'm big on being like I'm a real one. Like I tell you that this is what I'm gonna do. So I did that. You know what I mean? I got the flight. Boom. And he told me where, you know, let me know where they were staying at so I could be in the same, you know, general area. Boom. I messed around and got my hotel room there, and like walking into the hotel the first night coming back, and I'm seeing all these battle rappers. I'm seeing Danny Myers. I'm seeing the Saga. I'm seeing A Ward. I'm seeing Snake Eyes. And it's like, damn, I see all these cats, you know what I mean? So it was amazing, but I was out there for, you know what I mean, support of, you know what I mean, my homie. Like,
no doubt. And you got a couple of interviews in at the.
Yes, I got an interview with Sharon. He's a battle rapper. He's also on Wildin' Out. You know what I mean? Dope artist. He had a dope battle with Chef Trez that night. And
that dude got
they had
skills.
they had an exciting thing. They didn't drop this footage yet, but the battle was so dope because they did their 3 rounds and then they had a bonus round.
Mm-hmm.
But the bonus round was freestyle off the top, and they would go 4 bars for 4 bars.
Mm.
So they was, you know, pulling, you know, taking each other's last lines and flipping it and doing their bar. And it was so crazy. The energy in the crowd was just amazing during that battle. Is dope. Shouts out to RB for that battle. It was crazy. But yeah, so I had got I had chopped it up with Sharon. I chopped it up with Show Off, who's another dope rapper. You know what I mean? Is also one of the homies. Got an interview with Mac Myron, dope up and comer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's funny because Mac Myron has been like we're gonna have to do a whole separate episode. Mac Myron is dope because I've been watching him in the Detroit joints.
Right.
Like for years now. Like
right.
something was coming up when my guy when all those Michigan guys was coming up at the same time, JC even before, you know what I mean, around
Ill Will, all them cats. Yeah.
Ill Will,
Be
all
Magic.
So Mac Myron, I was like, yeah, he's coming back. I didn't know he was back. So that's what's up. I mean, but we're gonna have to we'll talk about battling.
Yeah, we'll flip that. You know what I mean? We'll flip that another time.
Yeah.
But it was dope. It was dope to be there. That was my first live battle rap event. It was definitely an experience. Just being around, like it was the return of 40 Cal. I'm like, you know, we was big Dipset fans, B. I'm standing next to 40 Cal. Like I'm standing next to him.
Dipset trash.
Yeah. Oh,
Dipset. Hey, that's my hot. I was joking. That's my hot take. Nah, I was joking. I was joking.
It was dope, and it gave an exclamation point of why, you know what I mean, I love the battle rap culture so much. So I was very fortunate to be at that event and to be on stage during battles like that. You know what I mean, that was an amazing feeling.
That's what's up, man. What you got anything else from T?
You know, I wanted to save this to the end of the battle. I mean, to the end of the interview. I wanted to get through everything, all the you know, finer points. I had to ask this one remaining question that's been on my mind the whole time, bro.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You know what I'm saying?
I listen. I get it. You from a state that don't really have much of a professional team worth rooting for. But how did you get to the Eagles though?
Well, see, I'm in South Jersey, and
I thought a lot of Jersey fans were Giants fans.
Well, I can get to the link quicker than I can get to, you know, the Meadowlands. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I can get here, I can get there quicker. You know what I'm saying? So like that was my pops team. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's what I grew up on. So even when I ain't really I got into football late. I was a late bloomer in the football. Like I was lazy playing football in high school. I didn't want to play. I was fat and lazy. You know what I mean? Practice, nigga, what? I'm not practicing. So, you know what I mean? I was a late bloomer in the football, and now I love the sport, and I often have regrets of not taking it serious because, like, that's my favorite sport in the world. And, you know what I mean? So, to be honest, before we wrap it up, that's why I was asking you guys because during the seasons, you know, listening to you guys talk about sports, the vibe is, you know, undeniable. Y'all know y'all shit. And I was thinking about putting together, you know what I mean, a sports show on the cook up. And, you know what I mean, I wanted to know if you guys are interested in spearheading that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Facts. Yeah.
So
there it is.
One thing you'll see come up soon is we have a lot of interviews scheduled. We were blessed to have this interview with you. But prior to us joining the cook-up, one of the things I wanted to do for content is interviewing all our correspondents. So even though you hear me and Brian all the time and you pretty much know who we are now, when we have other people, you'd be like, who is that? You know, when you have these popular platforms, when somebody is a guest, they have credentials. You know, whether they're some
Absolutely.
writer, they're beat writer from some state, or they're a former athlete. And that's what I wanted for us, because I'm thinking, like you said, we're thinking big picture, not just today, but a year from now, 2 years from now,
Mm-hmm.
we might be on another level. And I want the audience to already know who, you know, Rail is. I want to know that we had, you know, not just guys talking football. We got football players who actually played football, talking football, who have relationships with actual players
Absolutely. Right.
talking. You know what I'm saying? We got a battle rapper who actually battles, you know, talking battle. Somebody who's like,
Mm-hmm.
who breathes battle rap, talking battle. And we want to interview them, so people who like, okay, you know, so when we talking the next, so at some point we'll get to the point where we're, you know, you know, my goal is I'm not into competing with anybody, like, because I feel like there's enough space for everybody to have a podcast or talk,
Absolutely.
because we all listen
Absolutely.
to more. Nobody listens to just one podcast, right? So at some point we'll get to the point where, you know, Brian and Tony are more so the guys leading a conversation, and we're talking about scorecards on battle rap. You know, we'll
Mm-hmm.
get to that point. You know, we haven't even scratched the surface of what we're gonna be doing.
We're just
Right.
beginning. We just
From
started.
from production to content to exposure to everything.
Right.
Just the beginning.
Yeah. Facts.
I love it. I,
And I'm
I love
glad
it
we got
all. You
on
know what I mean?
and we're glad that the fact that we got the Cook Up Radio, who can also, you know, mutually beneficial type of relationship we're gonna have.
Absolutely, man. Hey, man, it's family, man. It's family. It's a family atmosphere. It's
Facts.
family vibe. Be family. You family now too. You know what I mean? Like, so let's get together and everybody grow. You know what I mean? Ain't no crabs in a bucket mentality over here, man. You know what I'm saying? That the higher one of us go, we reaching back down and pulling our brothers up. You know what I mean? And that was the idea of this
Ain't
and
no
putting
pulling them up. We all
yeah,
move. We move
we
together
moving
anyway.
together.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
we
left
you
and
know
I'm
what I
looking
mean?
right.
Right, we moving together. Yep, solidarity. Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, so
Hey,
that's my bad.
go ahead, B.
No, I think that's a good point to like, you know, wrap things up on. What you, unless you had something else to say, Rizzo.
We good. We got. I think we touched it all. We got all. We got the Eagles. Unfortunately, we got him getting murdered by Disaster. Yeah, we good. We good. We good.
Shout out to shout out to the Eagles.
Yeah,
Like nah.
Shout out to the
absolutely.
Eagles.
Nah.
H
Yeah. Yep.
T
Hell to the
T
Redskins all day.
R.
HTTR. We over here.
Hey,
Anyway,
listen,
Hey,
look, don't get me started on that, all right?
hey, you on the ride up? It's been fun.
all right.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate being here, fellas.
All right, Sean. Peace.